I got big dreams here. Big dreams from a new cell phone policy. Good morning. Welcome back to the Caffeinated Classroom. If this is your first time here, my name is Marie and I'm a high school English teacher in San Diego, California. And the reason I'm actually starting this vlog in my classroom and not in my car is because it's my late start day, so I actually am alone in my classroom before 1 p.m., which is never the case because I teach straight through the morning and through lunch, and then after lunch is my prep period, and that's when you normally see me looking a little disheveled. But today, we're not really talking about my teaching schedule. Today we're talking about cell phones. So I said on yesterday's vlog, which I will link in the iCards up above, that I have been having some issues. Here is what the issue is. Basically, my kids, you know, my students, they're students. They are teenagers. They are, quite frankly, products of our technologically advanced society, and just like us, they have their cell phones on them all the time, and they're going to be tempted by their cell phone. And I can't remember, if I can find the study, I will link it down below, but my husband was telling me about a study that he and his colleagues were looking at or something. Yes, part of our job is to help them navigate that. I think that is anyways. I think it's part of our job to help them navigate how to ignore the distractions, or when it is appropriate to look at the distractions, and how to break yourself away from the distractions. I'm also teaching 9th and 10th grade students in March, so we're starting to get into the weird spring Twitter-pated part of the year, and I'm seeing it happen where they've been here for a couple of months because I have all new students in January. And this happened last term too, where it was around October into November. Cell phones start becoming more brazen out in front of me, and it's I don't want to be reactive, I want to be proactive. I don't want to be taking phones and giving out lunch detentions and sending them up to the office, even though I know that is our policy. I would rather err on the side of proactive rather than punitive. So I'm gonna show you what I have. I'm gonna show you where I'm gonna put it, and then we'll see how it goes today. I might be moving these little shoe racks. I don't know, if you didn't watch yesterday's vlog, you'll just see what I'm talking about right now. So let me show you. So what I have is these two, and you can kind of see, this is mesh, right? And it's a shoe rack from the back of my son's door, and we were keeping his little teeny tiny action figures that when my daughter was a baby we didn't want her to choke on, so we put them up and out of her reach. But now she's the one playing with the teeny tiny action figures because she's not gonna put them in her mouth anymore. So I figured, well, if this is empty, why not bring it into my classroom? So each of these has, oh my gosh, math, 4 by 5. So each of these has, oh no wait, by 6, 24. Oh my gosh, math and multiple subject teachers, please don't judge me. My times tables are not the best. But I did it. I did it all by myself with no calculator. They have 24. I have potential in my classroom to have classes upwards of 42. So I'm going to need all of them available. But where I want to put them, so okay, we're gonna take a little scan around my messy classroom. This wall needs to be used for student interactive bulletin board manipulatives, right? Over here is where, well, I just really like this paper, but it's also where I'll hang an anchor chart of the moment. It's where we have our table of contents. I can't really put anything there. Here, I was thinking of maybe hanging one here, if you guys can kind of see where I am. But then I just was worried if I put it up over there that some kid was gonna have number 1 and on this little pocket chart be at the very, very top, and then not be able to reach if they're 5'1", right? I just didn't want to be heightist, as I'm a pretty tall girl. And I'm sensitive to these issues. So, but if I keep looking around the room, I use the board on the other side that I am facing right now. I use everything on the front for it's just not gonna work out. So what I'm thinking is, down here in the front of my room, and I'll show you again, on either side of my red little cabinet that I keep their annotation kits and student supplies in, and clipboards and that kind of stuff that's just front and center of the room, I think what I'm gonna do is this whiteboard over here, the tiny one, and the little It's a felt board on the floor. Those are for my kids when they come in. And I'm realizing that they don't really play with them when they come in, because when they come in, they just want to see stuff on the projector. And I'm perfectly fine with that because it's like cool and novel to them. So I think I'm gonna take those home and put them on our little porch out and back for the kids to like play school. I think they'll get more use there. And I'm just going to take these guys, and because they're so long, cut them in half and put like 2 halves, 2 halves, put up the numbers. I'll let you guys know how it goes. So, I'm gonna get on that right now. Here I go. So, as you can see, I realized very quickly, like, how am I gonna put this up? So I just grabbed a stapler and I just put staples. The first one I was putting them in the brown part, and then I was like, duh, put them on the light part so that they're a lot harder to see. I think this might be good for the end of the year, for like the rest of this year through June, and then next year I'll probably do like staple gun or something like that, but we'll see how it works today. So I think the next thing that I need to do is put numbers on each of these. I might just put like a little piece of, I think I have some washi tape, and I'll just write numbers. The other thing that I'm going to do is, I found when I was rummaging for something to put that up with, I found something that I didn't use at the beginning of the year when I was setting up all my lights. A double pack power strips. So I'm gonna set one up. Might just go like in this little cubby right here, or like inside the cabinet. It might just go inside the cabinet because this is like a media cabinet from Target, so there are little like holes in the back for cords. So I might just set it up in there and put like a little buckets or like just a little tray for a charging station. And then this really cool, so like there are a bunch of ways that I can use this, and I'm gonna try it out today if I can get my life together and get numbers in quickly, so that I can give my students numbers so they know where to put their phones. Today, I am going to also use it for attendance, like really quick attendance. Because in this classroom, I move my students' seats so often, sometimes I just forget where they're supposed to be, and I'll like accidentally mark a kid absent who's like plainly in front of me, and I fix it right away, but this would like take away that whole shenanigan. And if their phone is missing, then they're either absent, or one of my colleagues had this really cute idea, and I don't know where she got it or if she just came up with it herself. You make little laminated cards that say phone charging or charging station or whatever, and they slip the card in their pocket if that's where their phone is. So I'm gonna check in with you guys this afternoon and let you know how all this goes. I'm gonna put the numbers on now. I'm kind of excited. I'm excited to see how much more productive we can be, and how much deeper our conversations can go if they don't have that temptation pulling them away from being present. I got big dreams here. Big dreams from a new cell phone policy. Okay, I'll check in with you later. Hello, good afternoon. Okay, so I have to say that I am extremely pleased with the way the cell phone chart went today. Here is what we did in class, and let me tell you exactly how I know it was working. Like, I have actual data to prove that this is working. Today, my classes, both my sophomores and my freshmen, were practicing like test taking skills, right? So if you follow me on Instagram, or if you have seen even some of my vlogs from like a while ago, I have some videos where I talk about commonlit.org. Commonlit.org is an amazing resource. It is free. It is created and curated by teachers. The whole library of texts is like organized by different genres and themes, and it's just pretty fantastic. And what they have is a couple different types of questions that go along with these readings. There's a set of guided reading questions that basically the whole entire text is blurred below what they have read until they get like each guided reading question correct. Once they finish all of their guided reading questions, which are just like comprehension, as I just said, they, my students get to take, it's normally either 4 or 5, normally 5 actual text-dependent assessment questions, text-dependent multiple choice questions. And so these are the types of questions that are quite rigorous. They're the types of questions that are on high stakes and standardized testing. They're the types of questions that our students need to get better at answering. And I'm realizing my students know how to do a lot of the skills that we've been practicing in class for mastery, but then when they are asked a question the way that it's worded by like a common lit assignment or even one of my reading quizzes, they get a little bit thrown off in the different options that they have. And sometimes it would even be easier if it was a short answer question. So we spent today reading, both of my like 10th grade and 9th grade read 2 different readings. Then they did their assessment questions. They did the whole thing on the computer on their own solo. And then when everybody was done, I gave them like 25 minutes to do that. I gave them all a paper copy of the exact same reading that they had just done. And on the back was the assessment questions with the possible answers. I showed them the answers. We all created them, like they created themselves an answer key and they just marked the correct answer. And then each group of kiddos was assigned one specific question that they had to dig through the text to do a couple of things. I had them like annotate in 2 different colors and working together. What I'm getting to is the whole cell phone thing. They talked without me having to prompt them. Way easier. Normally it takes like a little bit of gelling with their group, even though it's a group they've been with for weeks. It just takes a little bit. They just got to work. They got done like probably 2.5 times faster than they normally would if they had the distraction of cell phones around. And mind you, they had Chromebooks in front of them and they still got done faster. And they really got into like deep, actual critical thinking versus just jumping through the hoop and doing the task. And it was not really a problem when I just explained to all 3 of my classes at the very beginning of class, like, yes, we're gonna start putting our cell phones away at the beginning of class. If you have a cell phone that needs to be charged, here's where the charging station is. And I made little cards that say charging for them to put in their number. I gave them all numbers and I told them this is also how I'm going to take attendance. So if you don't have a phone for whatever the reason, I don't care the reason, but just let me know so I don't mark you absent. It worked great. They talked to each other. They got the work done they were supposed to get done. And then when we went over the questions together, I wasn't battling the cell phone war of, put your phone down, please. We're almost done. You can look at your phone when we're done. I was proactive, not reactive, and it was fantastic. And I'm very happy to report that. So I will keep you updated on how this whole policy goes, but I really didn't have a whole lot of pushback from my students because other teachers in my school do the exact same thing. And I think they really saw that they were learning better without their cell phones around. Seriously. So that is where I'm going to leave you guys for today. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Click the like button so that more videos like this show up in your YouTube feed. Make sure that you click the little bell so that you get alerts for each of my daily vlogs. And